What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about C3.ai. Ticker is AI. So ever since Palantir's earnings, a lot of people are now looking for the next big AI stock. And of course, I think a lot of people are now looking at AI. So I'll give you a good viewpoint on the data points, what they are truly saying, and given how things are going, where the price point might kind of land. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So on Wednesday, it did close 1.51% in the green. Clearly, over the last couple of days, it's been piggybacking off of the Palantir earnings, but based on the technicals, Wednesday was a very big day because it did successfully stay above that 100-day moving average and also did transition from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. Over and above that though, looking at stochastic, because when things go up, you want to see if it potentially is getting a little bit oversold, overbought, so forth. Stochastic is currently neutral around 38 or around 53, sorry, but there is a bullish sentiment behind the scenes. But of course, if it does continue to trend up, you have to watch if it does get overbought a little bit. So I'll give you guys a good overview of when that might actually happen. But looking at the momentum indicator, number of retail investors have been getting in. So of course, that's a pretty positive sign in that regard. But like I said, if it does continue to trend up, which most likely it is fair to assume that it will, definitely you need to watch for some pivotal points. So going back onto the actual chart for a second. So this green line right here is that 50-day moving average. So around 22.33. So that is a very big resistance point that AI will have to face. In addition to, for instance, this. So looking at the fib levels, you can kind of tell where a lot of the big, very heavy support and resistance points are. So 16.35 is that very big support. Vice versa, $23.14 is that next big resistance. So in my opinion, I do feel that it can easily get to around that $23 range without potentially getting overbought. So at that stage, so around the $23 range, this is where most likely it will bounce off of that, consolidate a little bit, which generally speaking is fairly good. It is healthy for the stock bigger picture because nothing ever just goes up and without any justification, of course. But keep in mind, within the next 2 weeks, there is going to be something that does come out that should give it some validation to really trend up higher, and that is their upcoming Q4 earnings, which unfortunately have been yet to be announced. So just be aware of that, but most likely it will be coming out within the next 2 weeks. My own opinion, of course. Keep in mind, I am not a financial advisor, so you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But at the time of doing this video, there has been no press releases, no SEC filings or anything along those lines. So kind of just be aware of that. Over and above that, there has been a lot of big transactions, for instance, on the dark pool. And typically, the dark pool is very common, or at least very popular for shorting. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of that because shorts, oddly enough, are very much all over AI. So short score is currently 76, utilization is 100%. And as far as what shorts did on Wednesday, they returned 83 or 84,000 shares. But still, 31% of the free float is being shorted. And so that is relatively high, and that does work out to be 27.76 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 14.15, so that's kind of neutral-ish. So on paper, C3.ai does have everything possible to have a fairly good squeeze. The only thing it needs is a good catalyst. And of course, with Palantir's recent earnings, it is fair to assume at least in some regard, that their upcoming earnings, which once again, like I mentioned, haven't been announced, that could be a very, very good catalyst. But keep in mind, obviously, that's up to interpretation. But based on Q1, it does appear that a lot of big institutions have been increasing their position in C3.ai. Clearly, they see something big. The only one that seems to have reduced their position significantly was Credit Suisse, and we already know what kind of happened to them, so they kind of just dropped off the face of the earth a little bit. But on a side note though, so like I mentioned, this is all the transactions on the dark pool. I'll give you guys a good overview of what happened on the secondary market for C3.ai. So there's only two transactions today, $101 and $193,000. So generally speaking, that's fairly kind of normal, so nothing really irregular there. But like I said, I do feel that at least in the short term, it can definitely hit to around that $23 range, on which most likely it will consolidate. Then it needs a good piece of news or continuation of a catalyst to either push higher. And at this stage, I do feel, like I said, the earnings is going to be the next big thing, unless there is some other economic data points that do come out to give the broader market justification to trend up. But I do strongly feel that a lot of big analysts are going to be very much looking over C3.ai and their earnings to see if it does in some way or another mirror Palantir. So definitely, I think there's going to be a big competition going forward in the next several quarters. And I definitely feel that based on at least the multiples and so forth, C3.ai is at a substantial discount. But of course, like I said, these videos are only for entertainment purposes only. Let me know you guys' thoughts on C3.ai. I actually did get in very luckily at the around $11 range. So definitely, I'm pretty happy. I did sell out half of my position, so I still have at least majority of the profits in there. But still, given that the nature and what has happened over the last little bit, I do feel that it can easily go up very high. But of course, that's just my own interpretation, of course. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Have you been buying, selling, holding? Where do you see things going? Do you think it's going to trend down, break once again below this 100-day moving average? Which of course, if it does, it can get to a very scary range, because that support range that I did mention was exactly around here. So if it does break that, then who knows exactly how low it could potentially go. But given the nature of the market and how it does appear that things are going to be expanding, especially now that Powell most likely won't be raising any rates any further, definitely I feel that big things might be coming. But once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on all that in the comments below. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, there is a good promo with 𝗪𝗧, link in the description below and also the comments. Sign up for a free account and you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So it is a complete no-brainer. Take advantage of that one massive promo, especially it's free. Free is the best dollar value. This promo is only good for May only. So once again, take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. Without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on C3.ai.